يا ربي لك الحمد كما ينبغي لجلال وجهك وعظيم سلطانك، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله وصفيه من خلقه وخليله، بلغ الرسالة وأدى الأمانة ونصح الأمة وكشف الله به الغمة وجاهد في سبيل ربه حتى أتاه اليقين. اللهم اجزه عنا وعن والدينا وعن الإسلام والمسلمين خير ما جازيت به نبيا عن قومه ورسولا عن أمته. اللهم احينا على سنته وتوفنا على ملته وأوردنا حوضه واسقنا من يده الشريفة شربة هنيئة لا نظمأ بعدها أبدا. اللهم اجمع بيننا وبينه كما آمنا به ولم نره، ولا تفرق بيننا وبينه حتى تدخلنا مدخله. ثم أما بعد. When Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam arrived to Al-Madinah, Al-Munawwarah, as we know, there were Muslims and non-Muslims, polytheists and Jews. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam introduced this concept of citizenship, that every citizen of Medina, they have rights and responsibilities. And the Jews have their own legal system, their own court system. They have their own community, and Muslims also constitute one community in or within the Medina community. And if anyone to attack one of these communities in Medina, the entire Medina must support this particular group. So even if they're a minority. And there were three Jewish tribes: Bani Nadir, Bani Qaynuqa, and Bani Qurayza. Bani Qaynuqa were in the middle of Medina, controlling the market of Medina. And that was the first conflict that happened between Muslims and Jews. This Muslim lady went to buy something from a jewelry store, and they asked her to uncover her face, and she refused. And someone actually came from behind and he attached the tail of her cloth to her back. And when she stood up, of course, her legs appeared and she screamed. The Muslim saw this and he went and to help her, and they killed him. He was killed, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam considered this an act of treason or war, and he asked Bani Nadir to leave Medina. They left Al-Madinah, and then Bani Nadir, when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam went to them, they thought it is a good idea that Muhammad is sitting outside. If someone goes on the rooftop and throw a big stone on him, assassinate him, and this assassination can make our life much easier. Killing Muhammad is the answer. Now this is a golden chance. You cannot miss it. And they made this quick plan, and someone actually got this big stone that they used to grind the wheat and so on. And he went up to throw this stone on the top of the head of the Prophet ﷺ and kill him. And at that time, Jibreel alayhi salam told the Prophet ﷺ what's going on, and told him, now just rush back to Al-Masjid. And the assassination plan did not work, because even the Sahaba who went with the Prophet, who was not alone obviously, they did not know where did he go and whether he's coming back. And after a long while, they went to Al-Madinah, to the Masjid and the house of the Prophet ﷺ, and they found him here. They found him there, and he told them about what they planned to do, and that's another, you cannot, do nothing about this. And the Prophet ﷺ decided to go and attack Bani Nadir. It's an act also of declaration of war. They surrounded Bani Nadir, who have very high, powerful fortress. And Surat Al-Hashr, if you read Surat Al-Hashr, another name to Surat Al-Hashr is Surat Bani Nadir, because it was revealed about Bani Nadir. سبح الله ما في السماوات وما في الأرض وهو العزيز الحكيم هو الذي أخرج الذين كفروا من أهل الكتاب من ديارهم لأول الحشر ما ظننتم أن يخرجوا. After, this month of surrounding Bani Nadir, they eventually could not resist, and they decided to accept whatever offer the Prophet would give them. The head of the Munafiqeen at that time, Abdullah ibn Ubay ibn Salul, said, no, these are my allies. You cannot just kill them. Let me give them to me. He actually showed great deal of disrespect to the Prophet. He held his clothes, and the Prophet told him, leave me alone, let me go. He said, no, I'm not going to let you go until you give me your word that you are not going to take a drastic action against them. And then the Prophet ﷺ said, okay, that's fine. They can go and carry anything they can carry, the camels can carry. But they have to leave Medina. Are no longer citizens of Medina, because they tried to kill the head of Al-Madinah Munawwar. Yathrib, known as Yathrib at that time. So they left Al-Madinah, went to Khaybar, up north. And the third one, Bani Qurayza, they said, well, after what we have seen, Muhammad, we did not see from Muhammad any disrespect or reaching contract and agreement with us. We have not seen anything bad from him, so we want to stay where we are. It's our land, our home, and Muhammad was kind to us. He's fulfilling his promises, so we are not going to join or plan any attacks on Muslims. We want to live in peace. And that was the case until the 5th year after the Hijrah, the month of Shawwal, right after Ramadan. An idea of those heads of Bani Nadir came to them that why don't we create a coalition? Few of Quraysh are the enemies of number one enemy to Islam. Few of Ghatafan, Bani Nadir, Bani Qaynuqa, and the Jews of Khaybar. And we have our friends Bani Qurayza still in Medina. So we can build a coalition that can help destroy Islam and Muslims, kill the Prophet and all Muslims. And they were very successful. They went to the people of Mecca. They told them, now we are building the coalition. We will support you with money, with weapons, with men. And the people of Ghatafan, they went to them, they convinced them. When they went to Mecca to talk to the leaders of Quraysh, the people of Quraysh actually asked them a simple question. They said, you are the people of the book. Do you think our religion, polytheism, worshipping so many idols, is better, or Muhammad's religion is better? They told him, no, your religion is better than Muhammad's. They know very well, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, heart of the message of Muhammad is La ilaha illallah. Islam actually is teaching the same teaching of Musa and Isa and Ibrahim alayhi salam. They know that very well. But because of this time of war, when they were asked, is our religion better or Muhammad's? They said, no, your religion is much better than Muhammad's. And the Quran talked about this. أم ترى الذين أوتوا نصيبا من الكتاب يؤمنون بالجبت وطاغوت ويقولون للذين كفروا هؤلاء أهدى من الذين آمنوا سبيلا أولئك الذين لعنهم الله. Allah cursed these people because they know these people worship idols. There's no religion. Muhammad ﷺ invite people to worship Allah the one, and they know, but they use religion obviously to justify or to ignite this war. Religion is always, throughout history, human history, always used to justify wars, conquering, and occupying. You'll always find the touch of religion in any of these conflicts. In the name of the cross, the Crusaders came and killed hundreds of thousands of people. In the name of Judaism now, many Palestinians, innocent civilians, are being slaughtered. And that the whole world is watching. They are dying out of hunger, as well as bombs. And in the name of Islam, so many atrocities have been committed in the name of Islam, unfortunately. So they were able to get Quraysh, the strongest perhaps tribe at that time, along with Ghatafan, so many people, so many clans within Ghatafan, and the people of Khaybar. And they start marching towards Al-Madinah. We know the story. And when the Prophet ﷺ got the news, Quraysh and Ghatafan and coming together, like they built like 10,000 strong coalition. And the Prophet said to Sahaba, what shall we do now? And Salman al-Farisi said that in Persia we used to dig a trench around our cities so that the enemies cannot come in. Now it was race against time. And they had to work day and night to dig this deep enough trench so that these enemies cannot enter Medina. And the Prophet ﷺ was working with them. Now, Al-Quran talked about this incident. Not only that 10,000 are coming, they actually sneaked in to talk to the leaders of Bani Qurayza, who were still in the south of Medina, the back of Muslims. And the leader of Bani Nadir came to the leader, talked to the leader of Bani Qurayza, and when he told him, he knocked the door, said, Asad ibn Ka'b al-Ghanawi, al-Khuradi, he refused to open the door for him. He said, open the door, I brought excellent news to you. He said, no, you brought evil news to me. You're bringing destruction to us. I'm not gonna even allow you in. He said, I'm hungry, man. I'm coming to you as a guest. Won't you feed me? He used this tradition of welcoming guests and said, okay, so he allowed him to come. And he told him, can you imagine? This never happened before. You have Quraysh and Ghatafan coming together. It's an easy task. I'm gonna finish Muslims in one day. You have to join us from the south. In the beginning, he resisted. And he told him, no, I don't want my community to suffer as you did. You want to stay here or living in peace? We're not going to join. But in the end of the meeting, he convinced him. It's a good idea to join this coalition. And they took action. So now we have 10,000. The other side of the trench, Muslims are there on the south side of the trench trying to stop anyone who tried to cross the trench, because some tried. So the archers actually have to be very alert and they shoot anyone who tried to cross. While digging the trench, Quran talked about this in Surat Al-Ahzaab. Name Al-Ahzaab means the parties or the confederation or the confederates or coalition. Al-Ahzaab. Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu dhkuru ni'matallahi alaykum. Remember the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala upon you when your enemies came from above you and from below you, north and south, because Bani Qurayza joined this coalition and they took actions and supported them with information and with money and so on. فأرسلنا عليهم ريحا وجنودا لم تروها وكان الله بما تعملون بصيرا. جاءكم من فوقكم ومن أسفل منكم وإذ زاغت الأبصار. You are looking right and left. Muslims went through this huge trial. Lack of food, it was cold. And you have munafiqeen, hypocrites, living within Al-Madinah itself. And now Bani Qurayza breached their covenant with the Prophet. And you have 10,000 fighters. That was a very, very tough situation. And the Prophet ﷺ would go and they can see the dirt covering his stomach. And people were putting stones to push their stomach in so that they don't feel hunger. And they came to the Prophet ﷺ. They're working very hard, but there's not enough food. And it's cold. You know, when it's cold, we need to eat more, burn more calories. So cold weather, lack of food, lack of safety. Expect attack from anywhere, anytime. But in these kind of tough times, people are distinguished. So Allah knows who is sincere and truthful and who is hypocrite. The munafiqeen in Medina used to make fun of Muslims. See, now Muhammad promised them that their message will go everywhere. Now one of them does not feel safe enough to go to relieve himself. And they don't have enough food. But you saw also heroism and truthfulness. When this lady sent some date with her young daughter to her husband and her cousin. And this girl actually was coming with some date to give it to these two individuals. And the Prophet ﷺ called her. Said, what do you have? She said, I have some date. And he ﷺ put coals on the floor and said, spread it. Spread this handful of date, spread it there. And she spread it. And the Prophet ﷺ asked the army to come and eat. And all of them, they came and they ate, one group at a time, and the date was still there. When they were digging, they encountered a big solid rock, and they tried to break this rock. They couldn't. They said that, Ya Rasulullah, we have an issue here. He said, what is it? I have this rock. He said, okay, I will come. He came, sallallahu, got the axe, and he hit it one time, and as a result of this collision, some sparks come out, and said, Allahu Akbar. Now I can see Islam taking over Persia. Second time, same thing happened. Said, Allahu Akbar. Allah showed me now the kingdom of Qaisar. And third time, said that Yemen. The munafiqeen again laughing. Muhammad is talking about all these ambitious goals, and now they don't even barely can eat something. وَإِذْ يَقُولُ الْمُنَافِقُونَ وَالَّذِينَ فِي قُلُوبِهِمْ مَرَضٌ, those in whose heart illnesses. They say, مَا وَعَدَنَا اللَّهُ وَرَسُولُهُ إِلَّا غُرُورًا. What Allah and His Messenger promised us is nothing but illusion. What are you talking about? Look at we and look at them. They are so weak and this coalition is so powerful. There's no way we can get out of this. And all the time, the munafiqeen and those who have illnesses in their hearts will always have doubt, always like to take the side of the powerful, are willing actually to betray their own people for their own safety. Perhaps we can talk about this inshallah in the future. So munafiqun and those who have illnesses in their hearts. Allah's promise and Muhammad's promise is nothing but illusion. But when the believers saw Al-Ahzaab coming, they saw them arriving after they finished digging the trench. قالوا هذا ما وعدنا الله ورسوله وصدق الله ورسوله. This is what Allah and His Messenger promised us, that you will go through some tough time. You will face troubles. You will be put in tests. وصدق الله ورسوله وما زادهم إلا إيمانا وتسليما. This situation increased their iman and submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when we ask ourselves sometimes why the ummah has to go through this, well, this is what happened to the dearest one to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. People have to be tested. And now we know, it's like so clear, who are the betrayal of this ummah and who are so sincere in defending this ummah. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam promised them, we'll be fine. How? We didn't know. Now, some of these great champions, heroes, they crossed actually the trench. One of them, his name is Amr ibn Abdul. Very well known, strong fighter and warrior. He was able to cross with others, few individuals, and he was calling upon Muslims, is there anyone to fight with me? Don't you claim that your dead will go to Jannah and our dead will go to hellfire. Okay, is there anyone who can send me to hellfire or I send him to Jannah? And it's Amr. It's like Arabs actually used to measure the strength of a person by saying that this person is like equal to 10 fighters. And this man is like 100 fighters. When you join, you count him as 100. So if there's 100 fighters and him, that it counts as 200. Army of 200 people. Because this one, we can see this now and perhaps in some games, one player can make a big difference. Amr was considered 1,000 fighters. This is how strong and how tough he was. And he's insulting Muslims. And it was Ali ibn Abi Talib radiallahu anhu. Ya Rasulullah, let me go. He was 20-something, young man. The Prophet's brother, the Prophet's cousin, and the Prophet's son-in-law. Ya Rasulullah, let me, he said, it's Amr. Yeah, I know it's Amr. Let me go, Ya Rasulullah. When Amr kept calling and nobody answered, finally, Rasulullah allowed or gave permission to Ali to go. And both sides are watching. Someone came, who is this? Who is this guy who dared to fight with Amr ibn Abdud? Oh, it's Ali. Oh, that's not fair. That's not like, there's no competition here. And Amr said that, son, I would hate to shed your blood. So go and let someone else come. He said, but wallahi, I would like to shed your blood. And he made him angry. What he did, he killed his horse. That's what Amr did. He came down from his horse and he killed his horse, which means that it's fight to death. And as a result of this fight, dust started coming up. And you can hear swords clicking and people are fighting, but they don't see what's going on. And obviously you can imagine how Muslims and our Rasulullah felt when this was going on. He may lose. He lost Hamza, Uhud. Now he may lose Ali. And suddenly they heard the takbir of Ali. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Then the Prophet ﷺ said, Abshiru, that's good news. So I'll be fine. One night, Rasulullah said, would there anyone can just go on the other side, sneak in, get some news and tell us what's going on? Because it's getting colder and the winds start, blowing. Nobody knows what's going on. And the people of Quraysh and Al-Tafan have been there for days, weeks, open place, they cannot even make fire because of the wind. It's getting colder, they're running out of supplies. And Rasulullah said that if there anyone can go there, find out what's going on and come back, it was tough, very difficult. And if anyone can go, and I guarantee that he will come back safely. If anyone can go and guarantee that he will be with me in Jannah. Everybody's waiting for someone to present, but and then the Rasulullah said, Hudayfa, come. So Hudayfa narrated this story, said when he called my name, then I have to respond. Go. Don't do anything. find out what's going on and come back. Don't do anything. So he was able to go and he sneaked in and he was sitting and it's dark. Abu Sufyan is a very smart person. He came out, some fire, and he said, Wallahi, I could have just shoot him and killed him. But I remember what the Prophet said. Don't do anything. Just get the news and come back. Abu Sufyan said that it is dark night, no moon, don't have fire. I'm afraid that someone maybe sneaked in, so everyone check who is sitting next to you. So Hudayfa asked the guy, who are you? On his right. He mentioned his name. He said, who are you? So the one who was left, he mentioned his name, but no one asked him. And that was smart. And then Abu Sufyan said that I've been here for so long, don't see any result, we're running out of food, tomorrow morning we're leaving. And just Hudayfa got this piece of news. And he went back to Rasulullah to find him standing in prayer. He said, Ya Rasulullah, this is what I heard. We're leaving tomorrow. Tomorrow morning they're leaving. Allahu Akbar. This is exactly what happened. After the sunrise, nobody was there. All went back to Atafan and to Mecca. That was a big victory. And they went to Medina with Dhuhr time. After Dhuhr, Rasulullah said, we're not done yet. We have to deal with Bani Qurayza, who are still in Medina. Don't pray Asr except in Bani Qurayza. After Dhuhr, he said that. And start rushing to Bani Qurayza. We'll talk about this later, inshallah. What victory, inshallah, is coming? Seems impossible, seems difficult and tough. It's how it is. What happened in the past, and this is what's happening now. What we believe in Allah's promise. We may see it in our life, maybe our children will see it in the future, but the victory is coming, inshallah. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الخلق والمرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد عباد الله اتقوا الله وأطيعوه إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون اذكروا الله يذكركم اشكروه على نعمه يزدكم ولذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون اللهم إنا نسألك الهدى والتقى والعفاف والغنى اللهم إنا نسألك رزقا طيبا وعملا متقبلا اللهم أصلح لنا ديننا الذي هو عصمة أمرنا أصلح لنا دنيانا التي فيها معاشنا أصلح لنا آخرتنا التي إليها معادنا اللهم اجعل الحياة زيادة لنا في كل خير واجعل الموت راحة لنا من كل شر يا حي يا قيوم برحمتك نستغيث أصلح لنا يا رب شأننا كله ولا تكلنا إلى أنفسنا طرفة عين ولا إلى أحد من الناس يا رب العالمين اللهم انصر دينك وكتابك وعبادك الصالحين اللهم انصر أمة محمد واجمع شمل أمة محمد وانصر أمة محمد يا رب العالمين اللهم كن مع إخواننا في فلسطين اللهم كن مع إخواننا في بنغلاديش اللهم كن مع إخواننا في الهند اللهم كن مع إخواننا في باكستان وفي كل مكان يا رب العالمين وفي سوريا وفي العراق وفي اليمن اللهم كن مع المسلمين المجاهدين في سبيلك يا رب العالمين اللهم انصرهم بنصرك وأيدهم بتأييدك اللهم كن مع إخواننا في غزة اللهم كن لهم ناصرا ومعينا يا رب العالمين اللهم فرج كربهم اللهم فرج كربهم اللهم انصرهم وأيدهم بتأييدك وانصرهم على من عداهم يا رب العالمين صلى اللهم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين أقم الصلاة